Hello and welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, for a Barcelona news roundup coming up for you today. And it might sound a little bit different here in the sound recording, sorry about that, but as you know, I am currently away on holiday, but the news doesn't stop. So today, you've got a video coming up with a few things that I had to bring you. So sit right back, thanks as always, guys, for your incredible support. Let's do this. And if we start, of course, with the Champions League, Barcelona, we've known for a while now, are going to be appearing, thank goodness, in the last 16 stage of the Champions League. But of course, we do have aspirations of going even further, and we are all very, very eager to find out who we're going to be facing in that round of 16 stage. And I've got to say, now we know the definite opponents of who we are going to face, who it might be between, I think looking at these teams right here, it's not going to be easy, and that might be a good thing. Let's have a look here at the teams that we could face when the draw is going to be made, which is on Monday. Just a few more days to wait before we find out. Tottenham are a possible opponent there after they finished runners-up in their group to Bayern, beaten both times by Bayern in the group, managed of course now by Jose Mourinho. Napoli finished runners-up to Liverpool. They've also changed their coach, sacking Carlo Ancelotti and replacing him there with Gattuso. There's also the chance of drawing Lyon. They finished runners-up in their group to RB Leipzig. There's Chelsea, runners up there to La Liga opposition in Valencia. That was a real shock in that group where Ajax went out, and I was very sad to see that actually that Ajax are not going to be appearing this season in the last 16 stage. Atalanta, of course, the Serie A side who just about got through after really improving their form at the very end there of the group stage campaign. They came runners up quite comfortably to Manchester City in that group. And like I say there, very good teams. They've all got their dangers, they've all got their key players, and certainly I feel here the round of 16, Barcelona are going to be tested, and like I say, that's a good thing. I want us in the round of 16 to actually get a team there who is going to put pressure on us, who are there going to challenge our mentality, both home and away, because we need to learn how to deal with it. We need to get our mojo back in this competition, and the only way to do that is play the best and beat the best. And I've got to bring you an update here on the transfer front, looking ahead now to the January transfer window, when we may have expected to see many different rumours and maybe even a completed deal to see Ivan Rakitić, who's been out of favour for much of the season, on his way out of the club. However, that now might not happen at all. It may not happen in January, it may not even happen in the summer, because MD reported earlier on this week that Ivan Rakitić has managed to convince the club to do a complete U-turn on his future at Barcelona. MD say there in their article that Rakitić is no longer for sale, he's no longer on the market after 3 quality displays against Dortmund, Atletico and Mallorca. MD say the club's been really impressed with him on the pitch. They've also been impressed about how he's reacted since being on the bench, and also his professionalism that he showed in that time. And I think there, it is believable. I think with Barcelona, there's always been a chance with Rakitić. We know how Valverde sees him, we know how the club see him. It doesn't actually surprise me here that this could indeed happen and Rakitić could stay at the club. Number one reason, though, why this definitely is a possibility is because of Rakitić himself, and simply the fact there that he has a contract until 2021. So that's not next summer. That's actually next summer plus 1 year, then you're into 2021, and then Rakitić's time at Barcelona, his contract will come to an end. But while he's got that contract, he doesn't have to go anywhere. Just like we saw in the summer, even if Barcelona wanted to sell him, even if we wanted to get rid of him, if he does want to stay, he'll just say no. He'll just refuse to go. He can block the offers that come his way, and he doesn't have to go anywhere. Because clearly the club are probably impressed with Rakitić. They feel maybe like they can't sell him, and now he could end up staying. And to be honest, Rakitić is a player who can perform, he can be an addition to the squad. We've seen that not only over the few match days that we've seen him in this season, but right through his time at Barcelona, he does have his qualities. The only thing for me that I would have to say, and I would say it not just with Rakitić, but with every single player, we can't now do a U-turn on this and actually go back to the way that it used to be with Ivan Rakitić. And what I mean by that is, they can't just say now, you're going to play every game. You're going to be back to being undroppable. He's going to be named in every single Ernesto Valverde lineup. That's not the way to go. You can say you want to keep him. If they want to go down that route, they certainly can do, but he's still going to earn that place. You're not going to get anything handed to you now at Barcelona. Do what you've been doing. Show that mentality whereby you can fight. We've seen now this season that Rakitić Rakitić can fight for his place, but once you've got there, you've got to fight to stay there. You can't just get in the team and then sit back because you know you're going to get that. We can't make any promises to any player. You want to be in the team? You have to perform. And I think actually with Barcelona right now on that centre midfield position, where as we know there's so many players that we have in those areas right now, which is why we expected in January somebody to end up leaving, if not more than one player. And certainly for me, reading between the lines there was what's happening right now with Rakitić, I think in January we are going to see a midfielder go and experience one of that, but most likely it's going to be Arturo Vidal. That's what I feel right now, that Barcelona see Vidal as somebody who's probably easier to sell right now. I'm not exactly sure that we're going to get more money for him, but I think right now, especially with his mentality, it's very different to Rakitić. Because Vidal, if an offer comes in January, he right now is very, very frustrated over his game time. He feels he should be in the team a lot more often. He wants to get more games, and he's been outspoken about this. It's not a secret. He's been very, very public about the fact that, look, I want to play more. That doesn't really look like changing. Valverde seems to have it set in his mind that he doesn't really want to go down that route all that often. But I think Barcelona see now that, yeah, we need to offload a midfielder. And in January, with teams certainly interested in Vidal, top-level teams into certainly are front of the queue right now, and with Vidal being open to leaving, it makes sense that he could be the one who ends up departing. But it is going to be interesting to keep an eye, guys, on the transfer window, and I want to move on now to two players who have been linked with Barcelona and just clear a few rumours with regards to these players. But it's not the kind that you'd expect, because I'm going to talk here, first and foremost, about Carlos Vela. And that is an interesting one, because not just this coming transfer window, but also in previous transfer windows, we have been linked quite a few times with Carlos Vela, who we all know, of course, from his time in La Liga, but we also know right now he's playing his football in MLS for LAFC. And to be fair, he's doing incredibly well. He had an outstanding season with them. They had a brilliant season as a collective, but he's really spearheaded that attack in every single sense. Not only goal scoring, but also in terms of creating as well. And he's been brilliant in America. But does that mean now that Barcelona should sign him? Well, a number of sources in and around LAFC, and even some inside the club, say that Barcelona have inquired about signing him, and in January, we always seem to get these kind of links. What the message is right now, though, from the local media in Barcelona, is that Barca are not going to be going down that route. They do say that in the past, they have inquired about Vela, but now that's over. In January, we won't be going down the Carlos Vela route. And I bring this up because it's interesting to see what's going on right now. Barcelona potentially are going to be in the market for a forward kind of player, but could it be an old man? Could it be an ex-Barcelona player? Because Pedro today has been very, very public on the fact that he wants to return to the club that he left in 2015. Because during an interview today with Cadena Ser, Pedro came out and said the following. He said, "I would love to return to Barcelona. Everybody knows what I feel for the club, and it's a possibility that I could return one day. I would love it if that could happen." That there is what Pedro said in an interview. Like I say, of course, he left. He wanted more game time. He wanted to be somebody who was a regular in the team. And being behind Messi, Suarez, Neymar, it wasn't easy. Of course it wasn't for Pedro to get minutes at that time. And of course, nostalgia is always going to say, yeah, we love Pedro. We love him not only as a player, but also as a person. He's a very, very likeable character. He was part there, a very big part, and a very underrated part, I feel, of one of the most successful times in Barcelona's history. But should we bring him back for that reason? And right now, I would say this is still unlikely. He wants to come back. Of course he does. He's very, very excited. Maybe he could make that happen. And his contract is up at the end of the season. It doesn't look as though he's going to sign a new one. He is going to be, technically, free to join in the summer. But he is going to be 33 years old. And it is difficult right now to imagine there, not Barcelona signing a 33-year-old, because obviously we have been linked with a number of these kind of players in the past, but it's tough to see why bringing Pedro back would actually be a good decision for the future. Simply because this season he's been pretty much out of favour at Chelsea, only managed 4 Premier League appearances for them this season, and only 2 of those have been starts. So clearly right now he's not going to be playing much this season, and he isn't really in favour under Frank Lampard right now. And like I say, I do love him. I loved him when he was here. Would I take the 2012 Pedro? I'd snap your hand off for that. Would I take even the 2015 Pedro? I would love that too. But the 2020 version there, somebody who will be 33 years old, and it's not just about his quality, it's also about the fact that could we actually there be masking over the new Pedro, somebody coming through La Masia, making an impact, getting an opportunity, somebody there like Carlos Perez, somebody like Ansu Fati, would bring in Pedro in, getting that game time, getting those minutes. Would he be taking them away from somebody there like Fati or like Carlos Perez? And that's what you've got to bear in mind. Because like I say, the nostalgia effect would always make us think, you know what, wouldn't that be great to see Pedro again in a Barca shirt? And I do feel that way. I would like to see that. But at the same time, you do have to take a step back and say, would it be a good decision for the club and the youngsters that are coming through that we all want to see develop and we all want to see them play? And the answer at the end of it is probably no. We don't want Vela. Pedro doesn't seem like a great option right now. And even Willian, we don't want him either. We want to see those young Barcelona players getting their chances. So please leave your thoughts in the comments, guys, on everything we have discussed in today's video. What do you make there of the Rakitić situation? Do you believe that we should be keeping him at the club beyond the next transfer window? Also, let me know your thoughts there on Pedro's possible return and whether or not we should make that happen. I will see you soon with more videos, of course. Thanks, as always, for joining me. But until next time, as always, Vasca el Barça.